Oh boy. That was embarrassing. That was tough to watch. That was a tough thing to put ourselves through tonight. The Illini lose to Wisconsin 27-10, dropping Illinois to overall 7-4, 4-4 in the Big Ten, giving Wisconsin their fourth win of the season, and also 2-6 in the Big Ten. Illinois came into this game ranked number 21 in the nation. They also had a college football playoff ranking once again under Brent Bielema, who has done that for Illinois a couple of times. Wisconsin has struggled this year. They decided to bring back their head coach, and I guess that was the right decision because Illinois could not take advantage of a struggling Wisconsin team. I said if they were going to get rid of a head coach, they would get rid of him. Illinois just lost to a team that doesn't really have an identity since Luke Fickell got there. Different offensive coordinators wanted to change from a ground and pound to an up-tempo spread, back to a huddle, sometimes under center offense, and just a team that has struggled. And I want to put this into perspective. Let's go over Wisconsin's schedule. They beat Miami of Ohio 17-0. They beat MTSU 42-10. Then they don't win another game until they played Washington just a couple weeks ago. They lost to Alabama. They lost to Maryland that Illinois beat. They lose to Michigan. They lose to Iowa. They lose to Ohio State. They lose to Oregon. Then they beat Washington. They lose to Indiana. Now they just beat Illinois, a team that is inconsistent, a team that has struggled under Luke Fickell. I don't know if he's the right person to be coaching at Wisconsin at all. This is an embarrassing loss. And this is nothing against Brent Bielema. This is nothing against the coaches there. I have talked to them. I guarantee I haven't watched, obviously the press conference has not happened yet, but it's embarrassing. This is an embarrassing loss for Illinois. They had a very small window of the college football playoff. And the reason why I say they had a small window, because I wanted to just say this real quick. If you look at their schedule, okay, they lose to Indiana, who's arguably Ohio State's number one, they're number two. They lose to Ohio State, who's number one. Now, the bad loss they had was Washington. But the argument is that they beat USC, who had a chance to make the college football playoff. That would be one of their times. And they beat Duke, who at the time was, talked about being pretty good. This was embarrassing on many levels. First of all, let's talk about Illinois defense. I thought the defense did as well as they could for the situations that they were in. They were on the field way too much. Wisconsin had the ball for 31 minutes and 45 seconds. They were on the field way too much. The defense, though, even though they were on the field too much, they could not get the stops that they needed to that Brent Bielema had talked about a couple weeks ago on third down, on long downs for sure. And we struggled to stop the outside run and the outside zone jet sweeps. Very much struggled. There was that third down and long, I think it was over 12 yards, and they run an outside jet sweep and they get like 25 yards. Once again, it comes back to, it looks like sometimes the defense is doing things that they're not comfortable with. And if I watch the press conference and hear that again, I'm going to sit there and go, why? Why are we continuing to do things on defense that the players themselves cannot do? I thought they addressed it after the loss to Indiana. I thought it was addressed after the loss against Ohio State. And you could see it. It seems like they have to go through a loss or a struggle, and then they decide to address these things, get them fixed. But by then, it's way too late because you're almost done with your season. I think Brent Bielema is the right guy for the job. I think Aaron Henry is the right guy for the job. He did well last year. He's had great moments here. And Illinois has gone through a heck of a lot of injuries on defense, and I understand that. But you also have to understand that you just may have to live and die on defense to call certain things. You may want to be in a certain coverage. You may want to do exotic blitzes. You may want to be in man-to-man the whole time, and that's what Bielema likes. But you cannot continue to put players into these situations that they cannot do. Even if you want to be in man coverage, even if you want to be in a zone coverage, if your players can't do it that are on the field, you're going to have to live and die and hope that an athletic playmaker does his job and what they do on defense. They just give up way too many big plays, times that they couldn't wrap up the quarterback. Just to give up 27 points to Wisconsin. Now, in their defense, had a muffed catch on the punt, put them into a bad situation, super bad situation. They're on the field too much, and they let a big run. It was the outside runs that really frustrated me about the defense watching them. But they forced them into a lot of punts, so you hope that you have to play, complementary football with the offense. So let's talk about the offense, because I think that was one of the biggest disappointments. This was the first time that I saw Luke Altmaier actually get frustrated at things. It seemed like he was saying that the receivers are running the wrong routes. He looked at the play call. There was one no huddle, and they got the signals in. He was looking at them either saying the signal was wrong, what was this, or he was saying the receiver ran the wrong route because he went to throw it one way. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. So that was very frustrating to watch. And then I have talked to Coach Miller a lot, and I respect him a lot. And I think he's a great offensive line coach. But there was tonight, they could not stop. Let me rephrase this. Let's just talk about the O-line first. We struggled to run the football because we just couldn't sustain blocks. We couldn't pick up any blitzes effectively. We couldn't get the stunts. Illinois wants to run the football. 50 yards rushing. 50 for 29 attempts. We averaged 1.7 yards per carry. 1.7. That is not going to win you football games, especially in the Big Ten, especially at Wisconsin. So they had to rely on the pass a little bit more because they just weren't able to run the football the way that they wanted to. So, pass attempts, Luke Altmaier was 21 to 35. He had 248 yards. He did everything that he possibly could. Third downs for Illinois were 4-13. Went for fourth down 3 times. Did not get one of them. We had 298 total yards. Wisconsin had 301. So Wisconsin just outgained us in everything that they were doing. Everything that they were doing. They don't have the sacks up. If I had to guess, Luke Altmaier was sacked 5-6 times, something like that. The thing, O-line struggled with that. And then the times that the pass protection broke down was we couldn't stop an outside rush. Now, there were a few times where they left the tight end attached to the line of scrimmage and try to have them pass protect. And tight ends are not good pass protectors. They're just not. And they had some speed on the outside. Tight ends couldn't get there. Running backs couldn't get there. So when Luke Altmaier gets rushed a little bit, he gets hit a couple times, he starts to what I call happy feet, where he starts jumping around. He starts to move outside the pocket when it's there, but he feels like it's not going to be there because of what just happened. We gave up big time sacks in the wrong moments. Wisconsin played their butts off, though. I don't think Illinois was ready. I don't think the players, I think, were ready and understood quite what Wisconsin could do because they do have speed on their defense. I don't think they were quite ready for that speed. I don't think mentally the players adjusted well. And you would think as a team that was sitting at 7-3, ranked in the college football playoff, they need some help. They needed some help from other teams, but they had a small percentage chance to make the playoff. A very small chance because of the USC win that they had, and USC having that big chance to make the playoff and being ranked and everything like that. I'm very curious what Brent Bielema's press conference is going to be. He did not look very happy on that sideline at all. He used to coach at Wisconsin. They've won there before with him as the head coach. But man, he's speaking right now. I don't know if I'm going to get flagged for this. So let's see here. Yep. Yep. He talked about the pass rush. You couldn't stop it. And we missed a field goal early on. That was the end of his press conference. Let's see if we can listen to the beginning. If it will load. This was live. But I'm looking at X or Twitter. People are really going after Brent Bielema, and I don't think that's fair. And it's these people that give him praise, and now they're talking about going. See, this is the thing. We love him when things are going well, and things don't go well. He's easy to attack, and we need to stop. Like, he's one of the best head coaches that Illinois has had, and we just need to stop that. All right, let's see if we can get the beginning of this. We're not going to. I just wanted to hear his beginning. So he talked about giving him good field position, which we already discussed. He watching it. I didn't want to show it because weird things when you show it. I don't even know if the audio will be on there, but Brent Bielema has shown some frustrations. He knows in the back of his head that they had a small chance of the playoffs, very, very small. If they went 9-3, there would be some sort of discussion, depending how the rest of the field shook out. But he looks very disappointed. He looks very mad. And comments. Here's what I don't understand, and we're gonna go off on a tangent a little bit. Here's a tweet. Brent Bielema's loyalty to Bart Miller and Aaron Henry handicapped any chance of a college football playoff bid. Hold the man at the top accountable. He had the resources and returning personnel for a far better year this year. The only thing I agree with on this tweet is we had returning personnel for a far better season. I agree. But injuries have happened to to the defensive back, like the safeties and corners. You had a little bit on the O-line. You had a little bit at running back as well. So when we talk about we have the personnel, if they're healthy, yes, then you have the argument, but they have to be healthy. Okay. Other thing, Bart Miller has been the O-line coach. He was with Brent Bielema at Wisconsin when he was there. He's been here since he got here, right, to Illinois. And when things go well, I don't hear anything about Bart Miller. This year, I'm seeing tweets like this saying, like, why is he loyal to Bart Miller? Look how bad the O-line played. Bart Miller sends a lot of guys to the NFL, so he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. It's about the players having the mentality to execute, and the mentality, there's some things you can't coach. He could bring them to the side and tell them how to pick up what's happening. Then they can go out there and they've got to do it. And if they don't do it, as a coach, try to find a way. But at the end of the day, they have to do it. Aaron Henry may be an argument for, but there's been a lot of good things, but this year has shown a lot of bad things. And again, this is what happens with the transfer portal stuff, in that when you recruit guys at the high school level, and the old days before this, you could mold them, especially if you're there for a while, you could mold them into your system and they've been around and they know it. When you rely a little bit on the transfer portal, they have spring ball in the summer and the season to get acclimated with what you're doing. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Same thing on offense. When you bring in transfer portal guys, same type of thing. We've had Barry Lunny Jr. for, a few years. If they're there for a while, they understand the offense and the system. Yes, Brent Bielema takes full responsibility. He said he's not going to start calling defense, but a part of me feels like there could be a change, and it's going to be horrible for him because he recruited Aaron Henry. He knows the family. It's going to be a very tough conversation, and that's a conversation for the end of the season. But I don't understand the going after Bart Miller. I have 2 episodes with him on here. Go watch him. He's fantastic. Brent Bielema I'm seeing these right now. Brent Bielema remains mediocre, ridiculous. Look what he's done for Illinois. Brent Bielema owes an apology to all Illini Nation for having a former player with no coordinating experience be the defensive coordinator. Stuff like this. Brent Bielema expectations are awesome because they're created by what we've done. 7 wins is not where we want to be. That part of it is the reality of the moment. To lose to a 4-win team, they were 3-win team. Obviously, they played better than we did and expected better. That part is frustrating. There's a couple I will not repeat. There's a lot of cursing and a lot of going after. Brent Bielema said he had no red flags going into this game. He knew that they had speed on the edge for the offensive tackles and tight ends. They just weren't able to pick them up. Yeah, a lot of hate for Brent Bielema right now. And here's the thing with Illini fans. This is what happens. And it happened with Illinois basketball. Remember where we were. Remember where we were. People wanted Brad Underwood fired a couple times. And I'm like, do you remember where Illinois was before he got there? So these guys are talking about, they're not necessarily saying to fire Brent Bielema, but they're hinting at it. They're hinting at that type of stuff. And remember where Illinois was before he got there. Do we remember the Lovie Smith eras? Do we remember before that? Like, he's doing things, and where Illinois was, it's going to take a while if we want to be like everybody else. You have to let the man cook, and the cooking looks different because of how college football is today. If he could run it like he did when he was at Wisconsin, we might look a little different than we do now. I understand that, and this is frustrating. This is a very frustrating loss. This is typical. Illinois is going to do what Illinois does. As a fan, this is usually what happens. We expect these good things. We have high expectations, and I use the phrase with the Chicago Bears, when's the other shoe going to drop? And the other shoe started to become untied when we lost to Washington. I'm okay with the Indiana loss. Like, I'm not okay with any loss, but if you have to pick losses that you can understand, I'm going to understand the top two teams in the nation of Indiana and Ohio State have to be okay with those type of losses. Now, the Washington loss, hard to accept. This one, hard to accept. But at the end of the day, Illinois has a chance to beat rival Northwestern, okay, send this group out on top, and then go play in a bowl game. To me, bowl games still matter because there's still a reason why you have to qualify for them. There's still a reason for that. And there's a reason why at Illinois they celebrate them. And I don't want to hear it's college football playoff or bust. That type of expectation is ridiculous with only how many spots there are, okay? I'll give you an example. Like here in Illinois for high school football, we have 8 classes, 256 make it, 32 in each class make it. It truly means something, but you still have to qualify. You have to be at least 5 and 4. But even then, you're not guaranteed a spot. You go 6 and 3, you are guaranteed a playoff spot. That's where you can say almost playoff or bust. In college football, it's unrealistic. We are still, Illinois fans, for Illinois football, there's a lot of teams out there that would love to trade spots with Illinois. And I don't think we could have said that years ago. I don't think we could have said that Bielema's first year here or his third year when it started to kind of come back to earth a little bit when we went 8-5. His second year. Things are still being built. Yes, it is frustrating. It felt like we had pieces, but I'm here to tell you that there still were some question marks of these pieces. Okay. We had to replace pretty much all of our receivers. I know we had transfer from West Virginia. I know Beatty from Rochester. I know the head coach. I know he's good, but there was still production that we had to replace. There's still production at the O-line we had to deal with. We have running backs that are not staying healthy. We have a defense where we had to plug in different players with production. They cannot stay healthy either. Now, where it comes back on the coaches is then if you're having these issues, you have to then simplify what you're doing, pick what they're good at, even your backups, or no, if this backup is in, we cannot do X, Y, and Z, and you have to be prepared for it and live and die by it. That's what has to happen from the coach's side. So I understand we had these high expectations because of our schedule of college football playoff aspirations. I thought we could have made it, but it also comes down to execution from the players. It does not take away from the embarrassment of this loss. It does not take away from that we should have beat Washington. We should have beat this team tonight. It is embarrassing, but we have to pump the brakes and remember where we came from. We cannot start acting like Alabama and Ohio State and Georgia were not those teams yet. Maybe one day, because you just never know. But we cannot start acting like that and churning. Yes, I might do an episode later on about changes that need to happen. Maybe. But people are going after Aaron Henry right now. The offense only scored 10 points. And I'm not going to go after any of them. Any of them. But everybody could have done better. As a whole team, players, coaches, all could have done better. It is an embarrassing loss. A lot of things went wrong. A lot of things need to be addressed before you play Northwestern. They're going to be pumped up to play. And then you have to go win a bowl game. Those will help kind of save the season for us. We cannot start churning on Illinois because they did not make the college football playoff. It cannot be college football playoff or bust. It just can't. Just can't. So that'll wrap up this episode of the Coach Steve Show talking about Illinois football. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow around Apple, iTunes, Spotify. Follow on X, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. This was a tough one for Illinois. We got to just take it and go. So thank you guys for watching and or listening. This is Coach Steve. We will see you guys next time.